What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to stream this live, and we are going to record it as we put on the website. If anybody needs to talk, please talk directly in your microphone. I can bring it to you. Just ask you to speak directly in the microphone so we can pick it up.
Thank you, Jack. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'm Tom Prickett, the chairman of the zoning board. And to my far left is Candace Walthier, the stenographer. Then we have Kara Sheridan, who's the secretary of the board. Lauren Anderson, who's vice chairman. To my left is Ashley Pukoski, who's legal counsel with Tucker Ahrensberg. And on your far right is Liz Ross, who's the zoning director. And I would look for an approval of the minutes from February 21st, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 21, 2022.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have no old business. Our new business this evening is application number 2022-007, Shannon O'Rourke, and help me, Keshke? Cashel, sorry. 548 Georgetown Road, Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. And it is a request to install a 6-foot-high privacy fence in required front yard's corner lot. Section 1204 of the Zoning Hearing Board regulations restricts fencing to a minimum height of 3 feet in required front yards. I'm going to do something a little different, if you don't mind, to give us some focus and help you concentrate on the points we're interested in. And that is to assist you. We're basically looking at two aspects this evening, as you can appreciate. One is to grant a dimensional variance, and the other is to grant a use variance. And I'm only one member of the committee, so I can't speak for the entire group, but probably of the two, and there are basically 4 courses of action open to us. We could deny both requests. We could approve one but not the other. We could approve the other but not the first, or we could approve them both. And I think, just from my perspective, probably the dimensional variance request is the easier of the two. We can appreciate that a 3-foot fence being requested to be 6 foot. 3 feet may not contain certain dogs. Worst case, the dog jumps up and hurts itself. So I think we can all appreciate the sensitivity to want it to be 6 feet high. The use variance becomes a little more difficult to assess, and that's where we'd like you to concentrate your presentation this evening. If you can make a strong showing that the privacy fence is needed, and by that, I think we'd be, again, I'm only one member, but I think it's easier for us to look at an open fence, a chain link, as opposed to a privacy closed wooden fence. But with that as some lead in, I would appreciate if we could kind of concentrate on those areas as opposed to just wandering through the 5 information requests. The other 2 things are, if you would please stand and just be sworn in. Candace will offer that.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but yourself, correct?
Yes, I do.
And Liz is also sworn in. The other thing we'd like to submit, this was presented by Dorothy Schultz. I think you want to enter it as a part of the material?
Sure. I'm going to read it on to the record. This was submitted by resident Dorothy Schultz of 18 Creekside Drive, Canonsburg, PA. Dear Elizabeth Ross, I would like to voice my approval for the fence that Shannon Keschel is planning on putting up on her property. Georgetown Road is heavily traveled, and it will definitely provide safety for her son and her dog. That's it.
Thank you. And with that, if you'd like to come forward and use the podium.
Hello, thank you for having me. Is this working? I'm not sure if it is. All right, thank you. So in regards to the dimensions and what you discussed, I have a Husky mixed breed who are notorious for being escape artists and finding ways to get out. We've already chewed through 2 leads at this point. the setback from Georgetown Road is, I believe it's 10 feet is the actual dimensions from that. So there wouldn't be any obstruction of view pulling off of Creekside Road. You can fit like a full-size SUV and then some in some cases to be able to visualize through that. And on the Creekside portion, I'm open to, pushing it back further if there's any restrictions as far from the street, whether it be 3 feet, 5 feet, however far back off of the street. And, like we said, cars go well above the speed limit on Georgetown Road. Trucks daily back up and run into portions of people's roads, signs, houses, just trying to keep my very busy 4.5-year-old and dog safe. As far as the visibility, one of the reasons the privacy fence was chosen is my dog does alert to other people and other cars that turn around, being that that road is often used as a turnaround, though it says no turnarounds. He does become verbal whenever cars back up and turn around unless they live there. He knows the residents of the area. So I'm trying to prevent disruption to the neighbors as well. I bring him in immediately when he starts barking, but it would help them and help me to not have him bark every time, say they have neighbors over there, he's not familiar with them, he can't see them and bark at them. I know I personally don't like when he barks. So I think that it would benefit everybody in the community to, have him also have that blocked vision to not cause disruptions as far as, cars that turn around, people walking to get their mail because our mailboxes are on Georgetown Road, which can be dangerous. And if somebody's just startled by my dog, I want them to be focused on, staying safe in that regard as well.
Okay, a couple comments, one of which, and maybe you can clarify, Liz, I think you're requesting a 3 feet setback. I think the reg is what, 10 feet?
So not for fences. We do not establish a setback requirement on fences. They can go all the way up to the property line.
Okay. And then the other is, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but they do make bark collars. I have a dog that we keep outside during nice weather, and if the dog sees me on the patio in the backyard, she just starts barking once loose. So I don't know if that's something you've even entertained. It's obviously not a part of the meeting here this evening, but I just mentioned as a side, maybe you're familiar with them.
Yeah, I think I've heard of them, but again, I just kind of stand by my stance. I think it would benefit myself and
If he
him
doesn't
to
have a
just-
visualization, it eliminates the,
Right, because it will cause him distress as well. He was a rescue from a West Virginia kill shelter. So, he gets nervous when he sees other people, certain statures of men, and that's the caveat to the fence too. Though he shows no signs of aggression, some people aren't familiar with dog etiquette, and I don't want somebody walking into my yard or sticking their hand through the fence to pet the dog. I'm not sure if you're familiar. I was born and raised in Cecil. My family has a historical tragedy regarding dogs and young children. So I'm just trying to do my part to keep everybody safe.
okay. Questions from the committee?
In that regard, is the dog bothered by sounds in general, or just sight?
Just the sight,
Okay.
typically. Yeah, he doesn't show aggression, but he gets nervous.
Sure.
And I think it would just eliminate the emotional distress for him. And with the see-through fence, somebody could stick their fingers through, and we've only had him since October, so he's still adapting, and though we've seen zero aggression, I just don't want anybody else. There's a lot of kids back there, and if one of them would stick their hand through, I just want to prevent injury in that regard too.
Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve both variances being requested. The variance to install a 6-foot-high privacy fence in the required front yards and side yard, and that the fence be a privacy fence.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
Thank you
carries
so much for
unanimously.
your time. I
Good luck with
appreciate it.
things.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd entertain, if there's no other business, a motion for adjournment?
I motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.